For the sixth and final item in our Sunday Six, I wanted to stop down and take a look at the NFL MVP conversation because I really feel like it crystallized on Sunday. And we're not declaring a winner. I'm already seeing that going around, even during the games on Sunday. Saw a lot of people declaring the MVP race over. It's easy to jump to that conclusion when you see what Josh Allen did against Detroit. And if I had to bet today, I would roll with Josh Allen to win MVP this year, but I don't think it's quite as over as other people think. I want to walk ourselves through this. But let's start with him. We've talked about the Bills, but man, I think it's worth giving Josh Allen a few more minutes of shine after the day that he had. 362 passing yards, 68 rushing yards, 4 total touchdowns. If you go back to that Sunday night snow game against San Francisco, Josh Allen has now scored 14 touchdowns in his last 3 games. Absolutely going ballistic. He is on an absurd pace. 37 total touchdowns this season. Obviously, the Bills are at 11-3. They've ended not just one, but 2 major winning streaks this season. They stopped the Chiefs' winning streak of 15 games. They just now stopped the Lions' winning streak of 12 games. You could argue they've got 2 of the best wins in the NFL this season. And here's the stat that I want to share with you that you can then take to the water cooler, take it to the group chat, impress your friends with it. I love it a lot. With that win against Detroit, 48 points, the Bills have now scored 30 or more points in 8 straight games. That dates back to when they beat Tennessee 34-10. They're averaging 35 points per game over the last 8 weeks, 7-1 record. 8 straight games with 30 or more points is now tied for the longest streak of such games in NFL history. And I'll tell you what makes that so interesting. The other teams that have done it scored 30 or more 8 straight times. The 2013 Denver Broncos, who had Peyton Manning win NFL MVP. The 2010 New England Patriots, Tom Brady, NFL MVP. The 2007 New England Patriots, Tom Brady, MVP. And the 2000 St. Louis Rams, Marshall Faulk, NFL MVP. So this type of offensive production is almost always accompanied by a player that wins NFL MVP. The Bills have already clinched the AFC East. They are on the inside track at the number 2 seed, at least a chance at the number 1 seed. We'll see how that goes, but bare minimum, the number 2 seed feels very attainable. All they have to do is outclass the Jets and Patriots over their last 3 games. Those 2 teams, a combined 7-21. If Buffalo can go 3-0, 14 wins would be the highest win total in Bills history. That feels very attainable. Best record in Bills history, number 2 seed in the AFC playoffs, and Josh Allen conceivably finishing with 40-plus touchdowns. Yes, I understand why people are declaring him the MVP 3 weeks ahead of time. But now's the part in the show where we talk about one of the least entertaining games of the week, but one of the most impressive performances. Guy by the name of Lamar Jackson. Maybe you heard of him. The reigning NFL MVP. Ravens beat the Giants 35-14, and Lamar goes 21 of 25 for 290 and 5 touchdowns. Lamar's 6th career game with 5 passing touchdowns and no interceptions. The only guys who are doing it better than him, only guys with more of those games, Drew Brees and Tom Brady. I mean, this was a video game performance all the way. And interestingly enough, Lamar Jackson now sits on 37 touchdowns this season, just like Josh Allen. He had 43 touchdowns in 2019 when he won his first MVP, and only 29 last year when he won MVP. He's on pace for a career high. He's on pace to do better than either of those seasons. Now, the record is an issue. The Ravens are 9-5. They're currently a wild card, but they host Pittsburgh this week. They could tie the Steelers' record if they win and even that season series. So, yes, we know how voters determine the MVP, and wins and losses, whether right or wrong, have a lot to do with it. But the Ravens could win out, finish 12-5, and realistically could finish the season as high as the AFC's number 3 seed. If they were to do that, steal the AFC North from the Steelers, with Lamar putting up his first 4,000-yard passing season with a career high in touchdowns, it should at least be a conversation. We should at least be holding the door open for Lamar Jackson. I think people will grade him very harshly because he is the reigning MVP. I think you really have to wow people to win MVP 2 years in a row, and the Ravens do already have 5 losses. I understand all of that. But again, a guy that's already won the award twice, passing for 4,000 plus and setting a career high in touchdowns. And mind you, 2 of the Ravens' last 3 games are against playoff teams, the Steelers and the Texans. So plenty of opportunity to make big stage statements. Those games are also standalone games. Steelers on a Saturday, Texans on Christmas Day. Plenty of opportunity with a lot of people watching. I'm not ruling Lamar Jackson out just yet. And the other important piece of this is it feels very important that both of these performances happened on the weekend that Saquon Barkley had his most pedestrian day in a while. 65 rushing yards, no touchdowns, his worst output in a month. He's officially fallen off Eric Dickerson's NFL record pace. So all due respect to everything he's accomplished, and for that matter, the Eagles getting a dominant win without him being at his best, whatever momentum there was for a Saquon Barkley MVP, I'm putting it to rest right now. I'll mention Jared Goff as well. The guy did just throw for 490 and 5 touchdowns in the same game that Josh Allen just played. Looks like he's going to break his career high of passing touchdowns. That's 32. He's sitting on 30 after throwing 5 against the Bills. So he's there. I don't think you can rule that out, especially if the Lions finish with the NFC's number 1 seed. I do think the Lions' overall dominance and especially, games that they've won where he didn't play his best or didn't need to be at his best, I wonder if that hurts him in the long run. And that's why sitting here with 3 games to play, yes, Josh Allen, leader in the clubhouse, but I've got a close eye on Lamar Action Jackson because I don't think this thing is done and dusted just quite yet.